think I always made the comment that once a miller, always a miller.
Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! Good Evans, he's done it again. Another promotion for the big man.
I've got 12 bottles of champagne in my office and we're going to drink them all night.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Hello, everybody. Welcome again to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast, and it's same old story, isn't it? This time it's another point, much like Bristol Rovers game. Another point which is a disappointment because we expected better and we didn't get any better. But we'll go through the game. Plenty of goals, 4 goals to talk about, plenty of incidents to talk about. Missed chances, poor defending, good defending, etc.
That's just from Burton.
That's just from Burton. How's it going, Danny?
I'm doing all right, mate. How's everybody?
Very, very good. John Morell sums it up. Christ, it's bad when you go to drag Ben on to be the positive one. Ben, we're relying on you, mate. How you doing?
What? Did you say how am I doing? Yeah, I'm good at you. Sorry.
Yeah, very, very good. Mick, how are we?
I'm all right, mate. I think that was Ben's attempt at being positive.
Might be. Yeah. Anyway, Fisherman says tactics are all wrong. Substitutions, it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Martin Holland is with us. His Bazza says evening last. I think we saw Bazza yesterday.
I think we did, yeah.
We did see Bazza yesterday. Nice to meet you, Bazza. Miller's 6 with us as his YouTuber says good evening, one and all. Does Evans know what he's doing? Ian Barnes is with us from California. Very, very nice. Gav Gunn says evening all. He says very poor game, very poor decisions, and very poor substitutions. It's exactly the same as Fishman said. I think that might be a theme running through the show tonight. So yeah, we often ask for questions. We've got a question to start with from the Discord group. It's not going to be a happy one because it never is because we're drawing, we're not winning games. But anyway, this from Craig from the Discord group. He says that's 6 games. Do we have more questions than answers regarding the team or squad than when the campaign began? If so, what is your biggest question, Mick? We're 6 games in. We should be having something. I said about this at Huddersfield game. You have things to start clinging onto and talk about and think about. Is there more questions than answers?
Yeah, there are. Quite clearly, there are. Given the league position, the results, and the performances, there are some positives to take from it. There are some decent players in this squad. There are some very good players. Malik Wilkes, for example, has been a shining star. For me, Sam Nombe is starting to prove what he's all about. Jamie McCart's come from nowhere and put in some really good performances in his last 2 or 3 games. Cam Humphreys bagged a goal yesterday. You know, we know what a quality player he is. There are 1 or 2 others in there as well that are decent players. There's no doubt about it. There is some quality for this level in that squad. So that's the positive, yeah. The negatives obviously being that nobody seems to understand or know what sort of formation we're playing, what the style of play we're going to be playing, what they're supposed to be doing half the time. That appears to be what comes across. So there are a lot of questions still to be answered, and you know, maybe we're not the ones to be asking them anymore because we just, you know, we are very negative about it, and maybe that's not the right approach. I don't know, but. Yeah, I think there are more questions than answers, definitely.
Yeah, and that's the thing that it's 6 games in. Patterns of play should be obvious, even if the patterns of play are not working. Like Burton yesterday, for example, I can tell you what they are. I don't think they executed everything very, very well, but I could tell you the type of team Burton are. They like to move the ball quickly forward. They're direct with the passing, basically counter-attacking. It's obvious. Got it. I've watched 90 minutes of Burton Albion this season. And I've got it. I've watched 6 times 90 minutes of Rotherham United. And I'm still really, really struggling to understand it fully. and that's a concern.
Do you
So
see
after
me?
6 games, you hope to see a bit of something to do with how we approach games. And it weirdly feels like we've had 6 different approaches to every game. And some of them have worked better than others. But the overarching theme of the opening 6 games...
His Wi-Fi's gone. It
Is
lasted about a minute.
Ah, damn it. Right.
Here we go.
We shall try without speed.
Okay.
Is it working now?
We'll try.
Yeah, we'll try and persevere with this. The overarching theme of the last, well, the opening 6 games isn't one of trying to establish our playing. It's more overarching theme of we can't hang on to a lead.
Mm.
You know, like,
Oh, yeah. I thought you'd gone then, Danny, and then you came back.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Right.
He's back again. Danny, try the reboot. Anyway, it's going to be anyway. Yeah. Ben, you obviously went on the instant reaction yesterday. You decided to do something a little bit different. Just what we also kind of instant react. We'll come on to specific goals and individual performances in a minute, but 2-2 draw home to Burton is not the end of the world, but it's kind of the manner of things that is always.
Yeah, it's not about the 2-2 draw. It's not about that at all. We're just bad. We're just poor. We're just poor. I understand I can see what we're trying to do. We're trying to play to our strengths, which is Clark Harris and non-base quickness and stuff like that. But we're just not good. I genuinely, this is the first time in a while, even this and last year, but even when we were poor under Warren, that first season, his first half season, this is the last time I can remember as being bad. Because even when we were in League One with Warney, we weren't bad. We had some bad performances, but we weren't bad. I feel like we're not that good of it. We've got really good players, but the quality of that game yesterday and the quality of the games that have been, it has been really bad to watch. Really bad football to watch. And we were the better team, but we weren't good. I thought if they had a bit better quality, I thought they'd tear as a new one, to be honest. I thought they put some really good moves together, but just couldn't execute. I think if they had some better players, some better execution, they could have had 4 or 5 yesterday. It's not ideal, but I do think there is some really good players in this team, and I think there's a potential for it to be good, but they have to play as a team and they have to be good together, not just good individuals. I think Clark Harris was a little bit anonymous, but I think you look at him play and sometimes you think he's just a big stiff idiot, but he's not. Some of his touches and some of his little passes are really good for how big he is, and stuff like that. And obviously he got his goal, which was offside, but he still got a goal. But you can see the sort of player that some skills definitely there and ability is definitely there. And I just hope we can click as a team, to be honest, because it's just not going good.
It's not going good. No, it's not. Let's take up a couple of positives, mate. Scored 2 goals. Two. Well, the first one's is a really decent goal. Second one's just a scrap. But the first one, just tick it off, mate. It looks like it's probably offside, to be honest with you. Now, the angle we're looking at, which I think is done by a Rotherham fan, is not straight on, so it's impossible to tell. But the angle gives a suggestion that there's a conversation to be had. Is it onside or offside? But the liner's not giving it. If it's the other way around, you may be a little bit upset.
I don't know, because the image I've seen doesn't tell me anything. The image I've seen shows Clark Harris in an offside position before Powell's, well before he's kicked the ball. So we don't know what happens between him raising his foot and making contact with the ball. He was in an offside position prior to the ball being played, but obviously that's not offside. So that photograph, I think, was posted by a Burton fan which would suggest to me that in reality, had you moved it 3 feet forward, he was probably onside. So I don't know. I don't know is the answer, because obviously we weren't level with that. And I'll be honest with you, at the time there was no sort of suggestion in my mind that there might have been anybody offside, not at all. So I don't know. And to be honest with you, the defender actually got to where the ball was before Clark Harris did. He just missed it. So, which would again suggest that he may not have been offside. I don't know. I don't know. The picture you posted on X is not good enough to give any indication. So
okay, fair enough. We're going to test Danny's Wi-Fi. Yeah, exactly. We're going to test Danny's Wi-Fi here. Danny, talk to me about the first goal. It was our first goal, which was really nice moment of quality from Joe. That's a sign of what Joe Powell's got in his locker, to be honest with you. I thought it's a really nice ball.
Yeah, definitely. Is there how much of a delay is there?
No, that seems fine.
Right, this is how tedious. Right, I will answer your question in a second, Matt. But this is how tedious my Wi-Fi is. When I've got the X tab open, where Matt sends me links to the StreamYard show where we join and talk nonsense about football for an hour, it works. If I get rid of that tab, it decides to dither about like we do at the back and cost us a goal. That is how tedious my Wi-Fi is. So if anybody wants to, pay for me Wi-Fi, however much it is a month, please message me on Twitter about any deals that you've seen, because I'm more than happy to get rid of Sky because apparently it's crap. Anyway, to answer your question, yeah, definitely that shows what Joe Powell has got in his locker. That type of ball, that type of delivery is something that Clark Harris can feed off and potentially be our highest goal scorer this season, which he currently is at the minute. Whether or not it's onside is, jury out, but we'll talk about Burton's offside goal shortly, I hope, if you've already not talked about it.
Yeah.
We'll get onto that one. But yeah, it's the sort of service that Clark Harris and Hugel, to be fair, can feed off. It's a beautifully laid through pass. He's got a bit of a help from a defender because he misses it. But that type of pass, love that all day long. But again, it shows a little bit of a way of playing where we're a lot better going forward than we are defending. And you can't rely on outscoring the opposition all season, even though that is the long and the short of football. You can't rely on it because there'll be some days, like we saw early doors this season, where we're not on form and we're not scoring. And then we'll be getting beat by the opposition or not scoring more goals than the opposition, like the Burton game.
Yeah. If you only concede two goals, you're going to struggle to win games, aren't you? You're going to score a lot of goals to win games if you concede two. Ben, it's Clark Harris couldn't miss. You got to give credit credit's due, but if Clark Harris misses from there, you're asking some serious questions. But he's put himself in that position. Powell's seen him, and again, if that's a sign of things to come, that's a real positive. Joe Powell can do that, but he's just not been maybe done quite enough yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's an easy finish. It's not. He's got someone on his back, and he's got someone that he's tussling with. I don't think that's an easy finish at all. I think it's a really good finish. I don't think he's meant to do that to Clark Harris. Okay. I didn't think he did it at the time. Well, it's obvious he's gone to. I think he's gone for Nombe. I thought that at the time, and the angle that we had, literally perfect angle. I thought he'd gone for Nombe, and I don't know if he has, or he'll know. I'm sure he'll claim he was going to Clark Harris. But regardless, it was a good ball. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know what his role is because I don't know where he's playing. Yeah, I don't know if he's sort of that like De Bruyne player where they're like half wide, half central and get crosses in like that. Or he's meant to be a little bit of a wider winger. I don't really know. But that was a good ball. And yeah, even if it wasn't meant for him, it was a good pass.
Yeah.
But that's what we talked about with Clark Harris at the start of the season. I know I said he played well-ish, but he was a little bit anonymous, but he scored. So, and that's kind of what we're asking him to do a little bit. So, yeah,
definitely. Second goal, Mick. Your favourite players gets. I think it's his first ever competitive goal. A complete scramble, not quite as much of a scramble as the one down the road. yesterday, the 96th minute. It was just beautiful.
That was screaming, that, wasn't it?
But a good finish by Cam Humphreys, and when he scored, you can see how much it meant to him, to be honest with you. When you see Cam Humphreys, you don't see any emotion when he plays. And then when he scored, it just seemed to all come out of him. It was really good.
Yeah, look, I love him. He's brilliant. It so deserves to get on score sheet. You know, he's a fantastic player. And again, he's another one of those. Let's enjoy him while we've got him, because, you know, I'm sure he'll go on to bigger and better things. I'm sure he will if he can stay fit this season and not sort of get another hamstring injury or whatever. If he can start to get a bit of fitness behind him, then he'll go on, he'll kick on and play at the level that he deserves to play at. So it's great to see him score. And like you said, he absolutely loved it, didn't he? He absolutely loved it. Top lad. Well done, Cam. Great work, lad.
Yeah. And also, then I think I might be wrong. It might be right. It might be wrong. I think it's our first set piece goal of the season. I think certainly in league games. That's important because that's a string to Steve Evans's bow. That's one of his main things. Goals from set pieces. Yeah, it was scrappy. Yeah, but the ball went in eventually from one of the few good set pieces of the afternoon. So that's something to maybe build upon.
Yeah, I mean, I think from where Humphrey scored it from, it shows we're getting the ball into the right area from set pieces, which we'd not done prior. Because from watching highlights and such, it always looked like our set pieces were just a chance to turn over possession. You know, corners are normally short, free kicks provided a bit of danger, but not the best in the world. But I think it's like second assist from a set piece, if that's even a thing, because there was the initial scramble when the ball came in and then it sort of fell to Humphreys. But watching the highlights, he was getting fouled all over the place in the 6-yard box. They had hold of him the entire time the ball came in, but then just sort of left him alone and just left him on his own. It was a proper defender's goal, don't get me wrong, because it doesn't feel like there's any composure with his shot. He's just stuck his leg out and it's gone in. But like you say, it shows it means a lot to him getting his first senior goal, and potentially gives something to Steve Evans to think about of, we could actually be quite dangerous from set pieces here, and not necessarily lumping it to the big lads up front that we seem to do whenever Alex McDonald is on the pitch. But yeah, it could be another string to our bow and potentially help us kick on a little bit, and hopefully play some better football as well.
From PJMOL decided to deal with pulling and pushing and pulling shirts in penalty area. If only they had that as an edict at the beginning of the season, then perhaps we could eliminate some of that happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's all your positives anyway. In 18 minutes here, we've ticked what positives we can think of. Anyway, we've probably got a few more, but there's the penalty incident in the first half, Ben, that we've posted today. At the time, I thought it was a nailed-on penalty. I couldn't understand why it wasn't a penalty. Having watched it back, I can kind of understand why the referee didn't give it. I still think it is a penalty, but I can kind of understand it. It went down in a really weird way, which made me think maybe it wasn't a penalty.
Yeah, I thought it was offside at the time.
Okay.
But, I mean, I don't know. I'm still torn on it because from what I saw yesterday was ridiculous. In live time, from what I remember, it was just like he's chopped him down from behind. Yeah. But it don't look like that on the footage back. I still think it's a pen. I really do still think it's a pen. It's either a pen or a goal kick. Did he give a corner?
He gave a goal kick.
He gave a goal kick. All right. It's either a pen. Well, it's pen. Straight up, it's a pen. If you're saying if the referees give a goal kick, he's saying that he's put that wide.
Yeah.
So
he didn't get ball.
Pretty wide. It's foul. You know what I mean? It's a penalty. But I've seen some people saying it's a red card. It's obviously not a red card. It can't be anymore, can it?
Yeah. Well, it depends if it's been a genuine attempt. If you think that's a genuine attempt at ball, is the question.
Well, I think it's a pen. I think it's a pen, but like I said, I think that our goal is offside, in my opinion. So I think that evens itself out. But I also think they had a disallowed goal, which wasn't offside. So
we're going to mention that. We're going to
come on. Just on our goal, Scott Kent has just tweeted me a picture and it's offside. No ifs or buts about it. It's offside.
All I would say from that angle, the angle that it's filmed from is not bang in line.
Even if it's not in line, it's still offside.
Yeah, I think it's offside.
No question.
So does that cancel out the penalty, Mick?
It's a penalty. But yeah.
You can understand why the ref's not giving it, though, can't you? Because the way T's gone down, it's almost theatrical, but you know what I mean?
I'll be honest with you. I can't understand why the referee's not giving it no. And I say that based on what Ben's just said there about seeing that in lifetime, in real time. Obviously, he's got a different angle. We're all at different angles. But some of the fouls he did give throughout the game, it was a lot worse than some of the ones that he actually did give. So penalty for me, but it is what it is, isn't it? You accept these things, you have to.
Yeah, well, we're only saying this because we've benefited from other ones, aren't we? If we'd have been on wrong side of all these decisions. But yeah.
This is the thing, innit? This is the thing. Sorry, I know I keep interrupting you, but in the Championship, all these decisions we've talked about would have gone against us. Every single one of them would have gone against us. Whereas it would appear that the mistakes that are being made by referees in this division seem to be balancing out again. They're there for both sides. It's not as one-sided as it is in Championship by any stretch. Maybe that's just my Rotherham United coloured glasses. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. Chris Anderson says, spot on Ben. Harry Power looked lost at times yesterday, seemed unsure of his position, role and responsibilities. Harry said it wasn't a penalty for him. But Harry adds he thought the referee was poor all game, didn't let the game flow at all. Yeah, it wasn't one of the best. I wouldn't say it was terrible. I didn't think it was that bad. I think he was let down by his linos for two big decisions. We've had worse, haven't we? We've had a lot worse in the league.
Significantly worse.
Right, let's just get the Evans stuff out of the way, to be honest with you. I feel like we're skirting around the substitution and stuff. I want to come back to a few other bits that happened throughout the game.
There's an elephant we need to deal with, isn't there, Matt?
Yeah, I feel like we're all skirting a little bit. How do you feel? This has been mentioned. I didn't really want to mention. Me and Mick talked about this yesterday about Evans not doing the post-match. And we kind of considered not even talking about Steve Evans not doing the post-match. But I've seen a lot of other people mention it, Danny. So if other people are mentioning it, I feel like we should as well. There were a couple of incidents where boos got rang out around New York Stadium. One of the first times under Steve Evans. And Steve Evans didn't react very well at the time of the booings and then didn't do the post-match. We don't know whether there was another reason he didn't do the post-match, but the way the story reads is that he didn't want to talk about the reaction. That's how I read his reaction, if that kind of makes sense.
What other reason could there be that he doesn't do it?
It could be ill. It could have a personal emergency. It could be anything.
It could have something in slow cooker. You never know.
It could. So what we can do is speculate. Start by saying this is pure speculation, but I think he's not done it because he didn't want to. He's an emotional guy, isn't he? I think if he comes and does the post-match, I think he says something against the fans that booed him, to be honest with you. I don't think he wanted to do that, which may be a smart thing to do. Maybe. Danny, what do you reckon?
I mean, I'm sort of devil's advocate for this one because I wasn't at the game because unfortunately I had to work, but I've had multiple people said to me that there were boos with the substitution. Like you guys have said it to me. And then a few other people have said it to me. But you guys sit in a different parts of the stadium to where other people sit that have messaged me, and you've got two ends of the stadium saying the same thing about the boos with the non-base substitution, which may ring true. Maybe it wasn't a resounding booing, but it was certainly there. And if Evans hasn't reacted in kind to it, maybe the long and the short of him not doing the post match is he's got face on about it. And like you said, maybe he doesn't want to face the music with it. Whether or not that's emotional intelligence and he's doing it because he knows he'll say something that'll get a bad reaction, or it's toys out the pram. I'm not doing it, Paul. You go and do it. It could be either or of them. And I'm not going to speculate which one it is, but the resounding thing is it's not a good look. It's not a good look where you've had to face the music from fans like during the game with a substitution, and you're not willing to address it after the game, which we've not really seen from past managers. Say what you will about Liam Richardson and Matt Taylor due to their personalities and footballing intelligence, but they always face the music. They never sent the assistant out. Even, Wayne Carlisle sort of had to do it whilst he was an interim manager. But same with Paul Warne. I don't remember him sending Richie Barker out to do a post-match.
Very rare. He may have done once or twice.
Very, very rarely. But it was never after we'd not played well or the fans had reacted badly. But with this, it just smells a little bit of, he's got monk on about it and doesn't want to talk to anybody about it. But even in the post match, I've seen the things where Rayner singles out Nombe as well.
I haven't seen that, did he?
I've seen something in the comments where it may have been interviewed with the advertiser or something, but he singled out Nombe in the interview.
Oh.
I saw it in the comments earlier on. Yeah, thank you. But again, with that, it's the second time that Nombe's sort of coming to firing line, not due to his own, on the pitch ability. It's like you guys have said, he played really well yesterday, and the game sort of died a death when he got took off. So it begs the question: why make that change? Same with the Exeter game; they sort of had to say the thing of, "Oh, he didn't do well in training." Why tell us that? Why put that pressure on his shoulders when past managers sort of gone, "Oh, we've not played him because he's done crap in training." They've never addressed that in the media. So for me, not facing the music after the game just feels wrong. It's the manager's responsibility to take the flak from the press, and answer the questions. And when they don't do that, especially after a result's not gone our way, or we've not played the best, or there's been some sort of flare up with the decision and the fans, it just doesn't come across well.
No, it doesn't. Lots of people have opinions, as you expect. Harry says he just clicked the send assistant button, which we've all done, to be fair. We've all done that. Well, I can't want to go through. Evans, Chris Anderson in the post-match, he said after a reaction from the fans. Scott Gunny says Evans bottling it and doesn't like the truth. Chris Sanderson said I sit 3 rows back from Evans in the dugout and was furious from the reaction from a fan reaction to Nombe coming off. Harry says end of game, and so this Evans, Rayner, goalkeeping coach, and the first team coach were in a huddle just talking, and he was the first down the tunnel. Ben, let's talk about the decision which caused the anger. Really, the Nombe substitution. Burton have just scored a goal to make it 2-2, and at that point, I understand the change. I understand he wants to mix it up a little bit, but we've seen Johnson, Clark Harris, and Jordan Hugo play together, and it's a disaster. And you know what? When yesterday for the last 20 minutes, it was basically a disaster. They don't work together very well at all. And Nombe was really, really good. Nombe ran and ran and ran and ran. Didn't score the goals, but I feel like that Nombe is the kind of player that we can accept him not scoring if he plays like that. If he's going to put the effort in and cause problems, I can accept that. And that's why I think he got the reaction. Because he was doing that. It was obvious what he was doing. And it was just a poor decision. And he's got to be man enough to take the criticism.
You don't know if it's Evans's thing, is it? Because he's obviously not the tactic guy.
No.
I don't think that's Evans's decision. He should take blame for it, but I don't think it's his decision. I think that's Rayner's decision. If he's the tactics guy, it might have been a planned substitution to attack them in some way. Don't know what that could possibly mean, but I've just said it anyway. I think Clark Harris was probably the better one to take off. Is he not allegedly 80%, 70% anyway?
Exactly. It looks at it last 20 minutes.
Exactly. So I'd have took Clark Harris off. I wouldn't have brought Hugo on either. I wouldn't have been my sub to bring on. But I mean, you're not acting like you had a big reaction when he got took off, man. You stood up. I think
I stood up and applauded. No.
No.
You
You stood up and went, "What the hell?" You said, "What the hell?"
Oh.
Loud as anyone around me.
Do you want to talk about Mick's reaction?
Can we talk about Mick's reaction on whilst we're live? Like,
No.
Mick stood up and booed. He was one of the boo boys for the non-base. I stood up, said, "What the hell?" and gave Nombe a standing ovation. That's what I chose to do. Mick chose to boo.
I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed now.
I think Mick needs to release a public statement to Sam Nombe and go, "Sorry, son, it wasn't directed at you."
Yeah. Yeah, Mick, I'll come back to Ben in a minute in terms of not doing the post-match, but the substitution itself was... And bearing in mind that McDonald had come on early, I don't think that helped because McDonald had come in and done nothing either. And then we all... Yeah, it just seemed stupid. And that's the word. It didn't make sense.
No, it didn't. It didn't. And I'm embarrassed. And bring back Paul Warren. He's mentioned it. Palamad there. He thought I was an anti-booer, and I was. I've called people out for booing before, saying it doesn't help the team, and it doesn't. I weren't booing the team, obviously. It was a ridiculous decision, incredible. Honestly, I genuinely could not get my head around it. I was amazed when I saw that number 8 go up on the board. It just. It made no sense to me. It made no sense, and it still makes no sense to me. And I'll tell you what, I've read Paul Davis's player ratings today, and he's hardly very complimentary towards Nombe.
No, he's not.
And what's all that about? Maybe we're watching a different game. The people on the other side of the stadium, I don't know. But that was a ridiculous decision. Genuinely a ridiculous decision. And his reaction to the crowd, Evans's reaction to the crowd was just as remarkable, to be honest with you, because he sat there with his hands out as if to say, why are people booing? What on earth's going off? I mean, if you don't know as manager, if you can't see the impact that Sam Nombe was having on the game as manager, then I'm sorry, mate, but either borrow these off my face here, use your ears for something useful and put some glasses on them, because you're not listening to anything else. Honestly, just a remarkable decision, and poor and fully, in my view, fully deserving of the reaction that he got from the crowd. Outrageous, and I've mentioned Paul Davis's article in the Advertiser. I understand he will be under pressure to maintain contact with the club. I understand that, and I know that the last time Evans was here, he cut him out of it, along with Radio Sheffield. So he's got to back up Evans, because if he doesn't, his paper won't get the scoops, if you like, or the information that, if you like, from the club. So I get that. So I'm not being critical of him. He's got to do what he's doing to keep his job, not keep his job, but keep the paper in with the club, if you like, which in and of itself is a sad state of affairs, isn't it? You know. But anyway, that's an aside. Ridiculous decision, really poor, affected the game negatively. We could probably have gone on and got something from the game had we had some more pace up front, but we didn't. It was just poor. I'm still, 24 hours, 36 hours later, just still can't get my head around why it were done. But there you go. I'm not a football manager, am I? And that's possibly why.
No. Mick didn't book full time.
No.
But there were audible boos, is the phrase that people ever use. There were audible boos from around the stadium, around us, from the Cop end, and I assume from the main stand as well. Ben, do you have an opinion on the post-match thing? Do you care if Evans does it? Should he have come out and kind of explained the decisions because we had a poor result?
Yeah.
He should have come out.
Is it first time this season he's not done it?
I don't think he did it for the Mansfield game. At Bristol Street Motors? I'd have to check. I don't think he did that one. Other than that, he's done them all.
He wasn't on the sideline for that game, was he?
Oh, you're right. We're banned, wasn't he? You're right. Sorry.
First time there's been boos this season, and it's first time something like that sort of happened. I think you need to come out and address that, because that doesn't go unnoticed through anyone. That don't go unnoticed to the team. That don't go unnoticed to the fans. So I hope that's been addressed in the changing rooms and within the squad, because that won't have gone unnoticed. Definitely not.
Well, a player went up. Rafi went and did it. Went and did player
No,
interviews.
the boos. I'm talking about the boos.
Okay, sorry.
I'm hoping the boos don't get put on the squad. But in terms of the post match, it's just not ideal, is it? I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of a reason, unless it's a personal emergency or whatever, which is probably not. There's no other reason except you don't want to get asked about that. Or another reason, well, a potential reason, I can't think of one reason. Potential reason for it might be because Rayner is the tactics guy. He's made that sub, so he's kind of sending Rayner out to take that heat because he was the one that did it and he has the reasoning. So if he did get asked about that, he has the reasoning over Evans, because I would imagine Rayner Evans will have the final say in everything, but he is more or less the sort of game planner and tactician sort of thing. So I think he'll be the one making them decisions. So he's probably sent them out because he made that decision. Maybe.
Fair enough. Bring it back. Paul says Nombe caught on the counter attack multiple times. He had no support. I can think of 2 or 3 times when Nombe was the lone man forward, trying to hold the ball up. But what's he meant to do on his own? Strong Gunny harshly says Nombe is the new Paul Warren. Works really hard, but very little quality. But he shouldn't have been brought against. I really like Sam Nombe. I think he has got qualities, and I think he'll score eventually. But he oddly feels more of a threat than anybody else, but he's just not scored yet. But there we go.
He's always in a dangerous position. Whenever I see highlights, Nombe's always in a dangerous position, just lurking on penalty spot every single time. It's just that Clark Harris happens to be in the 6-yard box. And
priority.
Yeah. But again, if he's always in that dangerous area, why take him off? Because if you're always in a dangerous area, you will score at some point. It's almost striker's instinct to be in that area, something that Hugill doesn't have when he comes on the pitch, apparently.
Yeah. Bob's a prediction from me. Nombe won't start Saturday. Steve Evans wants to prove the point. Were you going to say something, mate?
Oh, no, I agree with that. That would not surprise me one bit. Genuinely wouldn't. And you know what? From a pathetic, childish point of view, a little bit of me hopes that that's the case, because that will just cement exactly the type of person that I think he is.
Yeah. Whether
that happens or not is another matter, and maybe that's a comment I should keep to myself. If I apologise, but I can absolutely agree with that.
So get your final predictions in now. Sam Nombe on the bench.
Yeah. Paul Nombe must be happy. The fans don't want him to come off. I think this season, hopefully there's been a bit of a connection built from Nombe to the fans, because I think fans have shown him how much they kind of respect what he's doing and how he's playing for the team so far. Certainly this season, anyway. Fishman said, just think how loud the Bulls will be if Birmingham hammer us. We ain't even out of September yet. John Morell, when a team is underperforming, you expect the leader to front up. To me, that screams coward when you send assistant. Harry says, if Evans leaves, Mick's hosting a party like the Crawley players did. Yeah. Yeah. Don't know. It's gone.
It's not like that, is it? It's not like that. I didn't want him in the first place, and it's what there's been a lot of damage done to the club on the footballing side over the last 2 years since Paul Warren left. In reality, and that damage is just being compounded, in my view. And this is just my view. I'm not saying this is fact. I'm just saying it's my view. The damage is being compounded while ever this continues, and we can see it on the pitch. You know, we can see the lack of organisation on the pitch, week after week after week. And it's getting to the point where we can say month after month, and almost now year after year. You know, it's just I don't know. But I shan't be able to host any sort of party. I don't want anybody to lose the job. I just wish they'd not got the job in the first place.
Yeah, fair enough. And Mark Gamble says Warney didn't do the post match all the time, though. No, he didn't do it all the time. I'd be amazed, and I'd be amazed if we had a poor result and one he didn't do the post match. I would bet a reasonable amount of money on this. Any time Wishy Barker did a post match, or maybe Matt Hampshire, I bet we had a positive result in that game. I don't think you should be sending the second in command, unless there's an emergency. I don't think you should be sending second in command to deal with a poor result in front of the media. You're the manager. Your shoulders are the one that everything should be laying upon. And I thought that was, again, unless there was something we're not privy to, I think that was really, really, really poor from Steve Evans to do that. But there we go. Right, let's talk about the Dylan Phillips thing. Again, let's get this out of the way. Danny, Dylan Phillips, the goalkeeper situation's been the conversation. As you'd expect when you lose something like Victor, which we have to keep mentioning, I suppose. But there was the disallowed goal that Burton had. First of all, it's probably onside. But just a really baffling piece of goalkeeping for just a moment and a big concern. And it didn't matter. Thankfully, it didn't matter. But, geez, that were a concern.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, the goalkeeper conversation will probably keep rumbling on until probably the next transfer window opens now. But, yeah, that goal, that offside goal from Burton in the first half, it wasn't a good look. Because I suppose I've got the benefit of looking at it from the highlight perspective, but he looked onside to me. You know, when the ball's played, he looks in line with whichever defender it was, and the referee's flag goes up straight away. It's like, oh, that's a brave decision, that. And yeah, he looked onside from when the ball was played. Unless our defender's like very slow, he looked onside. But the more concerning part about it is how Phillips was caught out by it. You know, like he's come to meet the ball, and the striker for Burton gets just a little touch on it, and he's sent Phillips to sideline. You know, he's nearly in catering section at East Stand. He's done him that badly, and he's put it into an open goal. But you know, thankfully, it was offside, like from our benefit point of view, anyway. But to be caught out like that, it's like, ooh, he's committed too much too quickly there. And I suppose we might have, you know, the rose-tinted glasses on. We've had a phenomenal keeper over the last few seasons, but it feels like this is a situation that's turning into the Blackman Johansson situation in the first season of having him, you know, where we persisted with Jamal Blackman. The other option, the better option, that with the benefit of hindsight, was sat on the bench. It could be evolving into that, but again, after 6 games, you can't really commit to one player or the other. However, I think after Phillips's performance, where he should have done better for Burton's second goal, that's for sure, and he got caught out like that, but we got saved by the linesman's flag, I would start Dawson against Birmingham, because Dawson strikes me as the type of player where he rises to that occasion. You know, Birmingham beating Real Madrid of this league, you know, he'd rise to that occasion and put in a strong performance. But I think Phillips, for me personally, in my own view, he's too flappy. He's too flappy when the important times happen, where he's dealing with a set piece. He tends to flap at it, or he doesn't commit to it at all. Like there was a situation in the first half where Burton got a header, and it wasn't that far wide, but Phillips was rooted to his spot. Now that's a brave commitment, thinking, "Oh, it's going to go wide. I won't move." Because you know, there's always a chance it dinks in off the inside of the post. And if you've been stood still, it turns into what a lot of Man United say about Onana, where he doesn't move for the ball. And, you know, time again as well, we've seen in different games where Phillips has just sort of flapped at it, like he's not committed or he's overcommitted, or he's stayed at home or flapped at it. He did pull off one good save in the second half to give him his due. He did pull off a brilliant save in the second half where he made himself big and came and met the attacker and blocked the shot. And I think it went out for a throw, or it certainly went out wide.
He shanked that.
Yeah.
So give me due. Fair enough, that were a good save. But it seems like a continuous thing of he's a bit flappy at it, but Dawson felt calmer on the ball from what we've seen of him, even though it's not been a lot. And he's a lot more vocal as well, in my opinion. So for me, Dawson comes in for the Birmingham game.
Yeah. Aaron Carwood says, a brilliant touch from the Burton player, but Phillips was lost. He also has the jumping and diving ability of a 3-year-old lad. Reg saying that it was the same with Scott Shearer and Colin. And yeah, Scott Shearer and Andy Warrington as well in Evans' first season. Shelley says, 1,000,000% he will not play Dawson on Saturday. Shelley says he criticised Liam Rishi for not having a plan B. Steve Evans seems to be the same. There's no change in shape. We'll come on to shape. But the Phillips situation, Ben, does the disallowed goal matter?
Yeah.
From Phillips' point of view? Okay.
I don't know why he's coming for it. There's no reason to come for that ball. Genuinely, the power on it, or the because it's such a long range pass. If he don't get that, it's going out to the corner flag somewhere. Maybe a goal kick or throw in or whatever. But it's out of way. It's out of danger. There is no reason to come for it. Even if he gets to it, he's going to have to control it with his feet, because if he gets and slides with his hands, he's going to slide out of the box. There's no reason. Genuinely no reason. I don't know what he's doing. I can't tell you. I really can't tell you. I don't think he's offside either. I didn't think he were at the time. But he's... there's no reason. I don't know what he's doing. But I'd play... whatever it is, Dawson. I'd play Dawson. I'm not his biggest fan as well. He's always sort of screaming and shouting Phillips, which is obviously what you want from a keeper. But like, I don't like that. When you're making mistakes that bad, I don't like that. You can't do that if you're gonna do that.
The difference between vocal and having a go in there, and again, not to compare it to Victor, but Victor regularly had a go at his defence, but it wasn't every single time.
Never having a go. It
wasn't
having a go. It was different. But I don't know what he's saying. I'm not a defender, so I don't know what he's saying. It looks like he's having a go, but yeah, I think I'd play Dawson on whenever it's Saturday.
I think most people would. Mick had the second goal as well. I thought it was really, really slow to get down to the second goal as well.
Yeah.
Maybe defend him because there's a defender blocking the shot, but he just seemed to go down in installments. And I don't want to be having a go at my keeper. I like goalkeepers. I like Rotherham keepers, but I'm just not buying into him at the minute.
No, I'm not particularly. But as you say, and as Ben alluded to there, or Danny, I think it was. Sorry, we've had Victor, and I don't want to start criticising the keeper, but certainly the goal that wasn't given, that was given offside, which by the sounds of it clearly wasn't offside. I have no idea what he's doing there. That is an absolute schoolboy error. The other two, yeah, you could argue he should be getting down quicker to him, but that's just I don't know in that respect. It's a difficult position to fill. I'm not as convinced as some are about Dawson. I think he looks a little bit nesh, to use a Yorkshire phrase. Whether that's right or not, I don't know. Chris Tether there, I think he's somebody up there. Yeah, both keepers are a bag of nerves, and I think that seems to be the case. But yeah, it's the least of our worries. I'll be honest. I think keeper's position.
Okay. Go on then, Mick. What's the biggest problem? What concerned you most about the game yesterday?
What concerned me the most was we watched a Burton side who played some nice football, some decent football. They kept the ball very, very well. They moved it very quickly. They had no cutting edge, as Ben alluded to earlier on. You know, once they got into the final third, they really didn't have any sort of idea. But for the most part, from a footballing point of view, they were by a country mile the better side. From a footballing point of view, in terms of the game itself, overall, I think we were probably in charge of the game. But from a footballing point of view, they were the better side by a mile. And I feel that the way we're playing at the moment, with this diamond in midfield, with a winger playing at number 10 and two holding midfielders playing wide, and then anybody who's fit playing as a defensive midfielder, and then we just miss them out anyway. I just feel that a decent side will absolutely tear us a new one. They really will. And we've got no There's no organisation, there's no plan. We've got players playing out of position. We talked about Powell earlier on, who said that, saying that nobody's really sure where he's supposed to be playing. And I think a lot of players give that vibe that they don't really know exactly what's expected of them, where they're supposed to be playing, what happens next. What am I doing when we're out of possession? What should I be doing? Where's my support? It just seems so disorganised, and that's not changed. It has got better in flashes during some of the games, most notably that sort of period after the sending off against Huddersfield, when the crowd got up for it and kind of got behind the team. So
against 10 men as well. It's against 10 men.
Yeah. But 10 men. I mean, that's a bit of a moot point really, because it can be more difficult playing against 10 men than it can against 11 sometimes. So it's that's only a side part. We are. There's nothing there. There's nothing there in terms of organisation and planning. It just I don't know what we're supposed to be doing, and that comes across to me from the players that there are times throughout the game, quite a few times throughout the game, that they don't know what they're supposed to be doing either. We're going to get an absolute pasting if we play a side that can play the football that Burton did, but also finish it. We are going to get torn apart.
You mean like the blue one that are coming to town next week?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That's my worry.
That is a worry, yeah. Matt Miller in the comments said, I have to say this team does not look well coached. There are too many times on the pitch where the players don't seem to know what happens next, and that's a coaching thing.
Yeah, that's the comment I was referring to there.
Yeah.
And I agree with that 100%.
Scott Kent Ellis said the diamond formation needs scrapping ASAP. We don't have a midfield for it, and we don't have a proper number 10 to play it. We don't, Danny, and I was thinking about this earlier, but with our players, I completely agree. We don't have a diamond formation squad. What kind of squad do we have? Because we played 5 at the back of the first game of the season, basically 5-3-2. We didn't have the squad for that either, because you can't play hung ball. You still don't have that. Well, you do at Doffy, but you don't have a player that Evans is willing to play that isn't a 10. What formation do we have that suits these players? Or do we not have one and we need to kind of look into one, and the recruitment balance-wise has been poor?
I think when you look at last season, we were told time and again that we don't have the players to play wingers, whereas this season it feels like we do, but we don't want to use them. We sort of don't want to use them as like proper wingers. They sort of are just wide midfielders, but they don't have the directive to behave as wingers, if that makes sense. Like, they don't bomb forward down the wings. They sort of just keep in the middle of the park and don't quite push out as wide as you'd like them to. Which is fine if you can play through the middle and play round the other team and exploit gaps in their back line. And like Powell did to Clark Carri's, play a through ball and your striker latches onto it. But when that doesn't work, we don't have a plan B. It feels like we don't have a plan B. We don't have a backup option of, right, we can't go through the midfield. What do we do now? Or the plan B option is to hoof it long and hope something sticks, which isn't a good tactic in League One, never mind if we want to progress into the Championship. So it may be something that we look at adding more depth and out wide, so we can actually change the system with making minimal substitutions. But at the same time, if the complex formations, if we like, to use that term, aren't working at the minute, and they're not, because we're not seeing a lot of joy through the middle of the park, maybe it's time to switch to, the tried and tested 4-4-2. Like that. I see a lot of people in the comments saying, let's go for 4-4-2. Let's actually have wingers. Because, as it stands right now, we don't quite know when Kelly's going to be back. He might be out for a little bit now because he took a knock in his penalty, not a penalty situation. So why not revert to just 2 in the middle and have a Doffin and whoever else is left to pick from. And, don't play a flat 4. I'm not saying like play a flat 4 across the middle. Play your 2 in the middle and your wingers ever so slightly further forward, but ever so slightly in behind your two strikers. Can you could play a 4-4-2 or a 4-4-1-1 potentially if you want to play non-Bay in behind Clark Harris. But we need something to add to stretch the play in the final third, because we're not seeing that. We're not seeing it going wide and going into the box and then having someone there to meet the second ball. That is non-Bay's perfect situation on the edge of the 12 yard on the penalty spot, edge of the 18-yard box. If the ball comes into the 6-yard box and gets headed away, he's in a prime location to pick that up and direct it back out wide again, or have a crack himself or whatever. Remember the last goal we scored for the club in the league was against Cardiff, and it was a screamer from the edge of the 18-yard box. That's the perfect location for him, but we're not playing a system that suits where he's being told to play. There's a whole tinfoil hat thing attached to that I won't go into because I want to keep this podcast under 2 hours. But we're not playing to our strengths. As bad as it sounds, we're not playing to our own strengths. You know, we've said on previous podcasts that we don't know what our best starting 11 is, and we were just starting to get a vague idea of what it is. But like someone said in the comments earlier, it feels like 2 steps back, and I'd agree, because I don't know what our best starting 11 is yet. And you'd think 6 games, you'd have more of a vague idea and go, all right, well, he's not fit enough, so maybe he'd come in later and da-da-da and this, that and the other. But after 6 games, I'm a bit worried that we don't know what our play style is and other teams do. You know, like I said earlier, Matt, we know what Burton's play style is from watching them for 90 minutes. And we know from in the comments that Birmingham play a very similar way, just better. You know, so if Birmingham play the way Burton did, but a lot more quality in the squad, we won't do very well against them. And I just hope that something gets picked up on soon. Again, I keep saying it. I hope it gets picked up with soon, because I want this team to do well, because we have the quality for this team to do well. You know, like with Clark Harris, Nombe, Wilkes, Powell, when he knows where to play. Liam Kelly's is decent at this level when he's fit. Same with Humphreys at the back. We've got 2 promotion winners in Raggett and Rafferty. We have the quality in this team to do really well, but they're not being utilised correctly as of yet, because we're not playing this formation that suits it.
No, we're not. A few people saying could play 4-4-2. Martin Miller says, don't agree with 4-4-2. Too many gaps will appear in the midfield. Better teams will take advantage of it. I could give you a few reasons why 4-4-2 won't work. Your central midfield 2 was going to be a Doffin and Powell. Well, that's not great, is it? It's not a great midfield 2, in that you need a Kelly or a Teehee if you're going to do that. Kelly can't stay fit for more than a couple of games. As much as I think he's brilliant, he can't stay fit. And then it's just... I don't know. I think the balance of the squad's off. I mean, what's for 6 games? I think everything's right. I don't think we've got the right players in the right areas to play any formation, to be honest with you. Any formation we come up with has got issues on it.
Yeah. If only we'd replaced Rathbone, we could have played 4-4-2. Oh, wait, we didn't. Never mind.
We didn't know. Well, I think he could argue that it replaced him with Liam Kelly, like somebody mentioned in the comments. The problem is, if you speak to any Coventry fan, Liam Kelly can't stay fit. So if Liam Kelly can't stay fit, you know this thing about signing injured players for the last 2 years, which everyone keeps going on about. We don't do that anymore. We don't sign players that aren't fit anymore. Right? So we signed Johnson Clark Harris, who's still not fit. Liam Kelly, who can't stay fit for more than 2 games. We do sign players that aren't fit, don't we, Steve?
I make it 4 so far. Like Clark Harris, who's operating at 80%. Kelly, who's in and out at the minute. Rafferty's been injured. Raggett's been injured within the first 6 games of the season. So I make that 4 currently. All are touching 30 as well. Interesting.
Yeah. Shall say, even when Green's fit, he probably won't play. Where would you fit him into the system? Andre Green would struggle to fit into the system as well. Ben, and this also brings on to the McDonald substitution yesterday. I think it was obvious to most people that Teehee was injured, basically. I think it was understandable he wasn't going to play full 90 minutes. They chose to put Alex McDonald on the bench rather than Sean McWilliams. Now, I'm not Sean McWilliams' biggest fan, but Sean McWilliams is a central midfielder. Alex McDonald is a bit of a bit part player that can play a bit of everything. And Paul Ritter even said that it was a purposeful decision to not choose Sean McWilliams. Bearing in mind, Chris T is not fully fit. it didn't make any sense. And Alex McDonald came on, and I still don't get it. I'm just proper struggling, to be honest with you.
Yeah, mate, I'm really struggling to explain. I don't know. I really don't know, mate. I'm so lost at the whole, just some of the situations and some of the reasoning and decisions. I'm just quite lost with. Mate, I've genuinely got nothing to say. I don't know what to say. McDonald, he's a bit part player. He's going to come on and sort of. The thing is, right, if you're going to bring McDonald on because you want to fight and you want to get the game back and rip momentum back, yeah, cool. All right, now let's put Hugo on with no pace and no sort of injection. Do you know what I mean? Injection intensity.
Bang on the
any press. What's the point in bringing McDonald on? If you're going to do that, let's get some intensity. Let's bring Nombe off. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't got any answer, mate.
Yeah. Ben, you just summed up pretty well. Yeah, but John Morrell, Ben, you're kind of failing a bit of positive guy one tonight. It's not going to highly recommend you. Matty Miller, these comments, i.e. quality players not performing, confusing tactics, lack of identity. Where have we heard this before? Rewind 12 months.
And I think that's the most frustrating part about it, that we had such high hopes of it turning round from last season, which was, I can't say the word I want to use, but it was a crap show, wasn't it? Over the course of the season, it was just complete and utter rubbish. And Steve Evans comes in, we get a bit of momentum back. We batter Cardiff in the last game of the season. It's like, ooh, something could be happening here. Could be a turnaround. And yet we've sort of dropped into the same feeling that we had. Like, I don't think it's an overarching thing across the entire fan base. I think there are a decent number of fans that are happy with where we are. And I agree in the sense of, give it give it the full 10, 15, see where we are. I agree with that. I'm not going to judge too harshly until after that, because I can use a lot harsher words. But, just to drag back from the edge of oblivion, the bit of positivity, we are 3 games unbeaten.
We are. Best run of the year.
Yeah, exactly. We've not had 3 games unbeaten since, oh, Christ.
January the 1st. Well, yeah, so we went the Christmas period last year.
Was it Borough, Sunderland, and Blackburn? Yes, that was it.
Yes.
That was it. So, yeah, bit of positivity. It feels a bit like we've got the cane out and we've dragged negativity off the stage for 5 minutes until it comes back. But
I'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, we are 3 games unbeaten, and here it comes, Matt. I'm bringing it back now. 3 games unbeaten. It was kind of a lucky win against 10-man Huddersfield, who are their only loss this season because they won 4-0 against Bolton, was it?
Did you see? Another soft topic. Did you see Ian Everett's post match yesterday by Bolton?
I need to look at
that.
It was so beautiful. I could just eat it all day long. It was just gorgeous.
They were an absolute calamity for one of their goals as well, weren't they?
Oh, golden before with poetry in motion. It was just just great. Anyway, cheered me up Saturday night, to be honest.
Yeah, but so we've got a kind of a lucky win against 10-man Huddersfield. The Charlton game, all right, fair enough, we drew, and Valley is a very hard place to go. However, it sort of cemented that we can't hang on to a lead, and we have drawn against Burton, but we said it on the preview show. It felt like a winnable game, but we said the same for Exeter, Bristol Rovers, Wickham. Who else? Where's that so far?
We lost. Yeah, in Huddersfield, yeah. So we lost.
We didn't really say Huddersfield was winnable, did we? We sort of went, a draw would do nicely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a bit. Yeah, we're 3 games unbeaten. Yeah, we're unbeaten at home as well. Thank you, Reg, for that bit of positivity coming in as well. But it's the way we go about it that I think is a frustrating bit.
Yeah. Craig Mill, we need to get Johnson Clark-Harris fit and then play to his strengths with wide players. Win no headers up top. His ability to win headers yesterday was abysmal. It was so bad. The timing of his jumps to headers yesterday was dreadful. But there we, just fed up with this negativity. To be honest with you, we came into the season thinking, well, at least we'll win a few games. Like 6 games in, we won 1 game, which maybe luck is not the right word, but it was a 91st minute goal. And then we've not really looked like winning many other games.
Remember in that game, we went down 1-0 after going up against 10 men as well.
Well, that was a sign of positivity to me that we'd come back. I thought, right, this team's they've shown they've got some bottle about them. They've shown they've got something together. There was a huddle after the game. There was all this positive feeling, and then it comes back this weekend, and the positive feeling is just gone. It's as negative as I've seen social media since last season. But that comment earlier from Mike Millimick about it being the same as 12 months ago. That's as bad. That sums it up really nicely, and that's really, really worrying because of how bad last season was. Steve Evans has got to sort this out, really, because I know he wasn't here, and nobody's blaming Steve Evans for last season. No, but we lived through it. We supported the football club through it, so we still have that baggage from last season. So anything bad at the football club happens at the football club. That's why the boost came out. You know, if we finished 10th in League One last season, and this is the start, I don't think it would be the case necessarily. We were promised better than this, and I think that's possibly why the boost come out, and that's why I don't think he's understood that yet. I don't know.
I'll tell you the problem. And the upsetting and annoying thing about this is that, like you rightly point out there, we've supported the team through the last 2 seasons in the Championship, where some of the performances have been woeful, some of them have been dreadful. We've tried to get behind the team, we've tried to get behind the manager, and nothing changed for the whole of that period. We were just poor. We were just really, really poor. Evans comes in with all the fanfare. I'm going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do the other. Great, things are going to change. We're going to do this. No, this is going to be absolutely, I'm telling you now, Chairman, I brought this manager in to make sure that we get back into Championship. This all positive stuff. Nothing has changed. Nothing on the football pitch has changed. There might be a different formation. There might be different players. We're still being served up the same old dross, and we're not. And it's not the players' fault that we're being served up this dross, and it wasn't the players' fault, in my view, last season either. It was down to the managers. It was down to the tactics, down to the training, down to the coaching. And that's exactly where we are now. We're in exactly the same position as we've been for last season and the bulk of the season previously. Nothing has changed at all. So it's all right coming in, shouting your mouth off, telling everybody what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do, and so on and so forth, and then just leave everything, just serve up the same old stuff. That's what's happening, and that's why it's so frustrating, and that's why I've got to the stage, and a lot of fans have got to the stage that we're just so negative about it because we're fed up of it, and we're more fed up of it, or I personally am more fed up of it now because I've been promised that it will change, and I kind of believed that it would change. I didn't want Evans as manager, but I kind of believed that he'd rally the troops. You know, it kind of just get things back up again, and he hasn't. He's done nothing at all to change anything at all on the pitch, and that's the problem, and that's why I'm negative, and that's why a lot of other fans are negative. It's horrible, and I don't want it anymore. I'm fed up of it. I genuinely, hand on heart, I am fed up of it.
Yes.
And we don't want to be negative week to week. Like we don't sit before the show and just go, yes, what can we niggle at today, lad? Right, where's the negative points coming from? We want to get behind the team and sing the praises of the team. You know, that's why we sing Sam Numbe's praises, because he's one of our better players, and he had a torrid time when he got brought in initially by Matt Taylor, because we had such high hopes for him being our first £1 million player, which I think is very natural from the fan base and probably put a lot of pressure on his shoulders. So it is nice to see all the fans rallying around him. And we mentioned earlier that, it must be a nice feeling having the fans boo you going off the pitch, knowing that you've put in a shift. And, but you have to give us something to sing the praises of, And when we start seeing it on the pitch, we will be singing this club's praises from the rooftops, because all 4 of us love this club. But at the minute, it's very hard to find where the positives are coming from. And I really hope it changes soon. I hope it changes against Birmingham. I hope we beat Birmingham. I want us to beat Birmingham. But I haven't seen enough to warrant me saying we are going to beat Birmingham.
Yeah. It's something that will put some up. Before John gets too cocky next week, I'll remind him that it will be typical Rotherham if he pulled up a good result against one of the better teams. We have a habit of, did have a habit of doing that. Well, look at the Huddersfield game. Perfect example. Team who's looking good. We are the better team and obviously get the win. Paul Rose says Evans is all sizzle no sausage. Fisherman Sid saying different league. Same old rubbish. Yes, it is. Let's finish on a positive though. Make Ben, whoever else. Is there somebody else? We talked about Sam Nombe. Brilliant. Anybody else that stood out for you yesterday? I can't remember who got man of the match yesterday. Cam Humphrey's got man of the match, I think, probably because of a goal. Is there anybody else that stood out yesterday? And please say yes. So we're finishing on a positive.
Rossi was a really good player, I thought.
Yeah, he's probably striker, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really good technical player.
Mobile.
Yeah,
very mobile.
Very, very good player.
Thanks. That's
Rafferty were decent. I thought apart from the offside goal, I thought McCart was all right. He had a decent game again. He played that lovely ball through for T to get fouled for the non-penalty. Malik Wilkes again. I think he's shone a little bit playing out of position again. I didn't think Chris Tahi was particularly bad. I thought he had a decent game in there. Hacks was Hacks.
The thing is, I spent an hour talking about. He's playing well. He's been playing out of position. He's been asked to do something he can't do very well.
Yeah, we don't know what he's been asked to do, and I don't think he knows what he's been asked to do. And that's the problem. We're going to go back over old ground, aren't we? In that sense, there are some positives. There are some definite positives. You can pick out individual performances, like Ben said right at the very beginning of this podcast. They don't win your games, or they rarely win your games.
Yeah.
Unless someone comes on and has an absolutely monumental performance, like you say, they don't win your games at all. And I just wish more. Well, yeah, but I suppose. But again,
there was a time in the first half where he made the Burton player fall over and then went back round him just to mug him off, which was just wonderful.
We need to see these things, show us that on Twitter, give us the positivity. But just to mention McCart, to be transfer listed when Evans comes in, and then to effectively backtrack and play him the majority of the time. I'm not saying McCart's been absolutely phenomenal in defence. I'd say probably he's averaging out maybe a 6 to a 7 at centre back, which isn't the worst thing in the world. It's he's doing a good job, but fair play to him for proving the management team wrong to transfer list him. Because when I saw McCart and KO'd on the transfer list, it was immediately, new gaffers come in. It don't fancy them to bank transfer list straight away. But McCart's proved him wrong. He's put a shift in, whether it's in training or on the football pitch or whatever, and he's proving people wrong. I think he was at Barnsley last season, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think he was all right at Barnsley. He wasn't exceptional, but I think Barnsley fans had high hopes. A player coming from a team above them, and him trying to help them get into the playoff places. But for us, he's been all right. I'm quite impressed with McCart because he's proved people wrong and he's got the mentality to keep kicking on with it. And I don't think he's had many complete and utter howlers. Obviously, there's a bit of ring rust with it being fresh in a season, but I don't think he's had a calamitous performance yet. He's just been steady and he's kept chipping away at it. So, like I said, picking out and singing praises, fair play to him. Fair play to him. I hope he gets better throughout the season. Same with Nombe, same with Clark Harris as well. I hope he cracks on and keeps scoring goals and learns how to win a header. And same with Wilkes as well. Wilkes has come in and hit the ground running straight away, which is fantastic. And I hope he bags another screamer for us. He nearly did against Burton, didn't he? He nearly did.
Yeah, Ed went a bit, no, to be honest with you. There's so many better options than what he did.
Yeah.
But anyway. we'll go for. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Really sorry for being negative again. All we can do is talk about the football and as it happens. I can't tell how many conversations we've had off air about how being so negative. So we are trying. We are trying. Adam Coward says, positive note though, his dad is going on holiday and he's using his ticket for Saturday. The previous 3 times they've done that, Rotherham have won convincingly. There we
Excellent,
go.
Adam.
Positivity. Nailed on.
Put your face, John. That's what's happening.
We will have a scouting report later on this week. That'll be from John. We're going to get John, who always in the comments. He's going to come up and talk to us about Birmingham City and how they're going to walk away with 1 million points in League One this season. And then we'll be back on Thursday. Thursday evening will be the preview show of Birmingham City. It'll be after the Lord Mayor's show for him because they're playing Wrexham Monday, aren't they? So it's going to be a bit of a come down for playing little old Rotherham. They've had Tom Brady doing their Twitter interaction. We should get Paul Chuckle to do one like they've been doing with Wrexham.
I took a swig of tea at the wrong time, then it's come at my nose.
We've got Lee McMahon coming on Thursday, so in your face, Tom Brady, eat your heart out.
I'll say it was Tom Brady.
Lee
kidding, I know he is. I'm kidding.
Because he is doing a show on Canterbury Friday. LPMCmusic.com if you want to get tickets for that. Mick's going. Ben's going?
Don't think so.
Ben's
I'm going. Hello.
Danny's going. So, yeah, go down and get some good music consumed before we play Birmingham on Saturday.
But make sure you're quick about it because there's only a limited sale of tickets left, so they might be gone by the time we actually see Lee on Thursday. So get your tickets bought quickly.
Yeah. Also, this is a side note. John Morell's saying Tom Cruise and Beckham are apparently guests of Tom Brady tomorrow. So if you wanted to watch some football tomorrow, don't put Sky Sports football on because there'll be no actual football showed. It'll be just famous people in crowd and Ryan Reynolds will send a video in halfway through and they'll play that instead of watching game as well. It'll just be chaos. So just find some Belgium second-tier division to watch tomorrow.
I'll say, is there any Bundesliga on Monday?
There are another cancelled top games, Danny. That's the big one. The whole world wants to watch this game.
The whole world wants to watch Real Madrid playing blue against the Harlem Globetrotters have a go at football. Right, Sam.
There you go, exactly. We've gone really long, and this is cheering me up now to talk about Rotherham United. Anyway, there we go. Thank you all for being with us tonight. Make sure you've subscribed if you haven't done already. If you want to go back and watch mine and Mick's instant reaction, not so instant reaction, yesterday, even more negativity for you. So if you want to just have some negativity in your life, just watch that on repeat. And on repeat is great. Make sure you subscribe to me on YouTube and give this video a like. If you're watching in the comments, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you listen on iTunes and Spotify, make sure you've subscribed and give us a 5-star rating wherever you are listening. And if you're watching on X, make sure you follow us on there and subscribe over here as well. Thank you, Mick. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Danny. Not thank you, Danny's Wi-Fi, but thank you, Danny. We will see you all next time. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Slides into Wales through a goal, slots it beyond Fodringham, and the Millers are in front in the South Yorkshire derby. And for the first time in 42 years, Rotherham United win at Bramall Lane. On the edge of the box for Doffin, he can hit them, and he does. Oh! Doffin! Has scored an absolute screamer for Rotherham United. Rotherham United have secured their championship status for next season.
Do me a favor, drop me off in